from Florida. And we want to welcome you guys from Florida, so to speak. And his name is Josh D. He'll be speaking on from a dope fiend to a hope fiend. So with that, I'll introduce to y'all Josh D. from down in the
I'm a recovering addict named Josh. I am extremely grateful for the only promise of Narcotics Anonymous, which is the freedom from active addiction. I am very thankful to be asked to come here and fulfill our primary purpose, to carry the message, especially in Detroit. I've never been to Detroit, man. Let me tell you, you guys do it out here, right? Like, you guys dress well, you sharp. And listen, my disease came in right away because I only bought sweatsuits out here. So I'm like, man, I gotta catch up to these guys. They're all shiny and stuff. I'm like, man, but I'll tell you, Detroit, it's been nice. I've never been here before, and when I landed, I went to 8 Mile, the 8 Mile road over there, and yeah, man. So I reside in Florida, Ocala, Florida, but I am originally from Long Island, New York.
Oh, hometown.
30 plus years from Long Island, New York, in the trenches. And I felt at home just driving through the 8 Mile through Detroit. And but my disease, like I said, wants to play on the things that it can do. So right away, I hear everybody. There's been excellent speakers already since I've been here, and I see a lot of clean time. Because where I got clean, there's a lot of younger members in Narcotics Anonymous. And me and my brother, we were just talking about how we don't see as many younger members here in this convention so far. So right away, my disease is going to weaponize that. My disease is going to tell me that I'm not adequate enough to carry the message, the life-saving message that changed my life. And that's what my disease wanted me, like Rabbit in 8 Mile, puking in the bathroom right now. Right, getting spaghetti all over my clothes. But I'll tell you what, I got recovery today, and that's not going to happen. Because the only one that's going to minimize my clean time is the disease of addiction.
Sure.
Right. So I will stay. My clean date is 6/30/20. I was just talking with the young lady, and I have 3 years and 9 months today. Today. Yeah, listen, I got to applaud myself sometimes too. Right? I gotta give myself a pat on the back as well. Right? I know I didn't do this alone, but however, I do know that I put in a lot of work to be where I am standing here today in front of you. Sure. And I'm extremely grateful for that. Man. So like I said, 6/30/20, God seen fit to take me out of the desperation. Right? And for me, I truly believe when desire, right, met desperation, willingness was forged in my spirit. Right? And before that, I had no idea what Narcotics Anonymous was. Right? Before that, I was a truly down to the dirt dope fiend. Right? We're gonna talk about this, right? From a dope fiend to a hope fiend. And so I am so grateful that hospitals and institutions came into my life. Right? I came here by an avenue of grace that was not wanted for me. I didn't get clean on purpose. I didn't want to get clean. This happened without my permission. I suffered a fatal overdose twice, not once, but twice, from the same bag. Right? I overdosed, woke up, they put me into a detox. I got let out 3 days later and went back to the same bag. Right? The second step talks about it. The second step talks about it would be insane if we were to ask for a fatal accident or a heart attack. And that's exactly what I did. I went back to the same bag, and my disease told me, you can do a little bit less this time, and you'll be all right. That's not what happened. Right? I did a little bit less all right that time, but I wasn't all right, because I woke up in an ambulance, not knowing my name, not knowing my birthday, not knowing the address, not knowing the president. And at that point, I surrendered. At that point, I surrendered. And I'm grateful. I was forced into in Florida, we have what's called a Marchman Act. And it's when they mandate you to treatment. Right? They made me get clean. Right? The first step talks about there's a difference between surrender and resignation in the step working guide. And I fully resigned to the fact that I was an addict and I was going to die under a bridge somewhere with a needle in my arm. I fully resigned to that fact that I was going to be found in my mother's bathroom or my brother's bathroom or in some car, in some parking lot somewhere. I resigned to that fact, man. But I'm so grateful that Marion County, not an endorsement, they forced me to get clean. They forced me to go to a long-term treatment center, which we don't endorse, but this is my story. Then they forced me, and hospitals and institutions came in and told me I never have to use again. They told me that this is a great freedom. First Step talks about it too. But once again, my disease automatically disqualifies me and disqualified you. Right? I was in Ocala, Florida. I just told you I'm from New York. Ocala, Florida is a small horse town, right? So here I am in this treatment center, and these people are coming. You guys are telling me I don't have to use again, and my disease is going to weaponize our differences. My disease tells me, and did tell me, that, oh man, you guys don't know me. You can't relate. You didn't do what I did. Yo, I used to rob pharmacies. You guys out here cow tipping. You can't tell me how to do this.
Sure.
Right? And that's what my disease is. But at some point, man, that hope that you guys give me in hospitals and institutions you give me every day, somehow it crept in. Somehow that happened, man, and I'm so forever grateful for that, man. There was a Scottish philosopher, right, that said to always give without forgetting and always give without remembering and to receive but never forget, right? And I will never, ever, 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 ever forget what Narcotics Anonymous has given me. I will never, ever, ever forget the dope fiend that I was. I will never, ever, ever forget the ability that Narcotics Anonymous has given me. The ability to be the man that I thought I never could be. The ability to be the man that God has always intended me to be. And I am forever grateful for that. I'm forever grateful. We all know what it was like out there. We all know. Right? It's the circumstances might be a little different, but we all suffered the same pain. Right? We all suffered this pain, man. This undeniable fact that I thought that I will never be a good person. Right? That's what my end of my road looked like. Right? I couldn't function as a human being, either with or without drugs, man. I couldn't function. Right? It doesn't say we couldn't function as an addict. I couldn't function as a human being with or without drugs. And I was faced with this dilemma. And I didn't understand that the end of my road would be the beginning of his highway. Right? I couldn't really recognize that. I couldn't identify that at that moment. And I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful that you guys loved on me, man. I'm grateful that you guys brought the hope that was necessary in order for me to recover. Right? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about from a dope fiend to a hope fiend. Right? I was such a terrible person, I thought, man. I didn't realize that I didn't have a moral dilemma. Right? I didn't realize I had the disease of addiction. Right? I didn't know that there was a way out. I didn't know that the way out would be a way in. Right? To this new way of life. Right? And we all know, if I'm going to break down like hope fiend, like what is the word hope? And I've heard a lot of acronyms since I've been here, right? Hearing other people's experience, which is great for me. I need that because, listen, it says in the basic text, it says, our only hope is to face our dilemma. Our only hope is to live by the example of others who have faced our dilemma and have found a way out. Our only hope, right? Our only hope is to live by the example of others. To live by the example of other members who have faced our dilemma and found a way out. Right? I realize that I can't do this alone. I recognize that I need people like you. I recognize, the other speaker that was talking about it earlier talked about, like, you can only survive on somebody else's with the same blood type. Right? And you guys have my same blood type, man. This is the only place that I know that sick people help sick people get better. And I'm really grateful. So I need to hear your experience, hear other people's experience, right? Because I need to be able to follow the footpaths that you guys have placed in the time of sand. I need to be able to do that. I need you members, man. You more experienced members, right? There's another acronym, right? So we have hearing other people's experience, or help other people every day, right? And I do that. I try to help. I have a 10th step in my life, right? And I ask myself 5 simple questions every night. It's like, did I stay clean, right? Did I help anybody today, right? Did I hurt anybody today? What could I do better today, and what will I do better tomorrow? So it's necessary for me to help somebody else today, right? It's necessary. I need to. Like I said, I will never, ever, ever forget where I was and where I am and who did it for me, right? You guys hold the torch up, right? I didn't do this alone. I needed that, right? I needed that, man. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And for me, hope is the game changer. Right? If we're going to really rhyme it on, hope is the catalyst for change. For me, hope was the friggin' spark that ignited my flame of desire to stop using. We're good? Without hope, this wouldn't be necessary. This wouldn't be possible for me. I need hope. It is a mandatory principle in my life, man. I could also say, right, that hope is the belief, right? Check this out. Hope is the belief that something better is behind what's facing the front of me. Okay. Right? Hope is the belief that there is something better behind what I face today. Right? So what am I facing today? I suggest you ask yourself, what are we facing today? Right? Am I facing that I'm scared that I'm not going to be a good enough father? Right? Well, what I need to do is I need to lean on my sponsor, who's got the most valuable and best relationship I've seen with his daughter since I've been here. Right? Hearing other people's experience and seeing other people's. What am I facing today? Am I facing that I'm insecure financially? Well, then I need to work harder. Right? I need to do the work that is necessary if I'm to achieve my goals. Right? That's what I have to do. So what? I suggest you ask yourself, when you leave, what are you thinking? What is holding us back, man? Because I know for a fact, if anybody in this room can do something, that means I can do it too. Right? I know for a fact, man. Right? And I'm not here speaking out of ego. I'm not here speaking. Listen, there's a difference between cockiness and confidence, right? And the 6th step talks about it, man. The 6th step talks about self-righteousness in its uninflated state, man. Uninflated, when it's not self-centeredness, man. Right? I have a healthy, confident belief in my values today, man. I have confidence in myself. Because when I got here, I was a dope fiend with no confidence. Today I stand before you, a hope fiend with astronomical confidence, man. Right? And for me, that's what happened in Narcotics Anonymous. This didn't just blink, man. I have done a lot of work to be able to say that. I have done a lot of work in Narcotics Anonymous to be able to look at myself in the mirror. To spot out the disease of addiction when he's active. Boy, he can be active a lot too. I don't know about you. My disease, listen, I'll tell you, man, I've been through the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous, I've been through the 12 traditions, the 12 concepts, going on the 12 steps again, and my disease is right there. I do a workshop, my disease does a workshop. Right? I do a step study, my disease does a step study. My disease is going to weaponize and utilize anything it can. And that's just me. So I'm grateful for that. That was a really good reading, too. That reading, the Living Clean reading, the Living the Dream, it actually comes from Recovery and Relapse. It's one of my favorite passages because what happens here, when I was a dope fiend, I was fed that misinformation that conditioned me to think the way I think. And what happens is when I think the way you think, it makes me feel the way I feel. And when I feel the way I feel, I act the way I act. Right? So that's the process for me. It's all about feelings here, man. Right? It's all about feelings. It's all about being aware and being able to tell me that, no, that's the disease lying to me. Like, I'm good enough. Like, I'm good enough to be up here speaking. Right? I'm good enough to be a good father. Right? I'm good enough to be a good employer. Right? I'm good enough to be a good son. Right? I have hope today. I have hope today. And hope isn't something that's bestowed upon me. Right? I see it, I recognize it and use. I can see that, man. Hope is one of the only spiritual principles that we can give back to somebody else. Right? Hope, I can get hope from you and give it back to somebody else at the same time. And I surround myself with three types of men in my life, three types of people in my life, right? I surround myself with people that feed me, that people that I eat with, and people that I feed, right? All different types of people, man. People that pour into me, people that we chop it up, and people that I pour into. And that happens regardless of clean time. That happens with hearing other people's experience. That happens with hope in here. So I really like the literature Narcotics Anonymous. It saved my life, and I'm very very diligent about trying to read something when I share, right? And sometimes where I'm from, Florida, I come up with my book, or I used to come up with a bunch of books, and then people, I don't want to hear from the book. Listen, I never went to the crack place without my pipe, right? I never went to the dope spot without my needle. So I ain't gonna come here and share off the cuff without the friggin' tools that given me this ability to carry the message of Narcotics Anonymous, that an addict, any addict, can stop using drugs, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. Now check this out. We're talking about hope, and hope is the message. Our message is what? Our message is what? Our message is hope. But why is it hope? Because hope is necessary. Hope is something that I need no matter what. And this comes from It Works How and Why, Step 7. We are being changed. We've not only heard about the miracle of recovery, we are becoming living, breathing examples of what the power of NA program can do. We are becoming living, breathing examples of hope. We are becoming living, breathing examples of hope, of a new way to live. The spiritual life has ceased to be a theory. It's no longer a theory. It's something that we have evidence in our life that we can prove, man. We can see a miracle simply by looking in the mirror. Man, I got a photo that I could show you guys that I was dead on arrival. I was dead on arrival, man. I was 132 pounds, overdosed in the corner in the ground. My mom taking a picture of me. I look like a walking zombie, man. Right? I look in the mirror today, and I am a vision of hope. If you're clean today, you're a vision of hope. And if you're not clean today, you are a vision of hope as well. I'm telling you. The God of our understanding has taken us from spiritually unconscious, hopeless addicts to spiritually aware addicts eager to live, man. Eager to live. I'm excited to live. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to what God has in store for me. Right? And as long as I stay on the path, as long as I keep being diligent, as long as I'm vigilant in my step work, as long as I can recognize what God has in store for me, then I will be great, man. I'll be great. I'll be what God has intended me to be, man. Right? Because we watch a football game. We know the quarterback doesn't throw it directly to the receiver. We know the quarterback throws it to the route, to the path where the receiver's going to be. And that's what I do. I take steps every day to be on the right path so I can catch the ball when God's got it coming for me, man. And I need to do that, man. And I need to help other people every day. I need to have hope in my life, and I need to bestow hope onto other people's lives. And that's what Narcotics Anonymous has given me. I'm so grateful for that, man. I'm so grateful that I'm no longer a dope fiend, man. I'm grateful that I'm hopeful. I'm grateful that my brother asks me questions. Like, he couldn't stand me. I used to rob his house. I'm grateful that my mother, my mother actually can sleep well at night. Right? Because she's not getting a phone call from the county jail or the phone call from the hospital. She knows she sleeps well at night. And she owes it to use. She owes it to Narcotics Anonymous. Right? She encourages me to do what I do every day to stay clean, man. I do what I do today because I don't want what I used to have before Narcotics Anonymous, man. 6/30/20, I told you, is my clean day. Before that, I had no idea what Narcotics Anonymous was. I had no idea that you guys were actually being successful. I had no idea. This was just a dream. And now I'm living the dream. Yeah. I'm living the dream because I'm a hope fiend. Oh, sure, Eminem over here, right? But man, so I am very, very excited to be clean. I'm excited to laugh. I'm excited to chop it up, man, because I remember what it was like being a dope fiend. Like, I don't have to tell yous, but I can remember. I do things every day, right? I do things every day in order to stay clean. Because you know what? Relapse isn't part of my story today. It's not a part of my story today. But I do steps every day, so it's not going to be a part of my story tomorrow. Yeah. And I have to do that. I have to stay vigilant. I have to stay diligent. I have to do what was asked upon me to do. Right? They told me to go to a meeting a day for the first 90 days when I got here. I did that. They told me to get a sponsor. I got them. They told me to work steps. I did that. They told me to get a home group. I got Boys to Men Forest Area Narcotics Anonymous, my home group. Right? I do service in my area. Right? But most importantly, I do service at the family level. Okay. Right? And God willing, that I'm going to have a baby boy named Ethan in July. Okay. Right? Now, you want to hear some hope? I'm going to hear some hope, right? I've been clean 3 years, 9 months. I got a daughter that's 8 years old. She turned 8 on March 2nd this year, and I haven't spoken to her since I've been clean. I haven't spoken to her in 7.5 years, right? And I remain in position because I know God's got a bigger plan for me, right? And amongst me, I had no idea, and now I have the opportunity not to replace my daughter, but to start from the beginning with scratch with my baby boy. Like, that's hope, man. I got chills just thinking about it. That's hope for me. And I have been able to do amazing things in Narcotics Anonymous in a little amount of time that I've been here. I've traveled the world, right? I've become financially successful, but I will take all that and push it to the side to be able to raise my baby boy, man. To be able to be the father that I couldn't be because I was a dope fiend. Come on. Right? Today I stand before you a hope fiend, man. I'm going to be a very responsible father. I'm going to be a loving father, and I'm so excited for that. That's hope for me, man. All this other stuff, like, this is great. This is all great. Speaking up here, hanging out, chopping it, that's great. But like, I know when I get to throw a baseball to my little baby boy, right, and I get to teach him how to read, and all these things that I couldn't do because I was an absent father. Talks about dereliction. Talks about, like, what's a derelict? Derelict is to abandon oneself. And I abandoned my baby girl because I was caught as a dope fiend in the grip of addiction. Yeah. Today I'm a hope fiend, chasing recovery. Sure. Right? So I'm going to be a great father. Right. And not only that, he's going to have a family that's worldwide. So Narcotics Anonymous is going to be there for him. And that's amazing. That's amazing. So I'm going to close out. We're at 24 minutes, so I'm going to close out. But I'm going to leave you with this little gem. So there was a farmer who used to grow excellent quality corn. Right? As a matter of fact, he won the best grown corn in the state of Illinois. And a reporter had an interview with him, and he found out during the interview that this farmer would give his best seed of corn to all his neighbors. And the reporter was confused, and he asked, how can you afford to give your best seed of corn to all your neighbors? And the farmer laughed. He said, you obviously know nothing about growing corn. Because what happens is the wind takes up the seed of the corn and swirls it throughout the fields. So if I want to grow great quality corn, I have to have my neighbors grow great quality corn as well. So that's what we're doing in Narcotics Anonymous. If I want to be great and I want to be successful, I am not going to tear somebody down. I'm going to lift them up to be successful with me. If I want to continue to be a hope fiend, I will continue to feed the message of hope. And I'm a recovering addict named Josh. Thank you for allowing me.